3 went up, all came down again. It feels like they can't break the mould. They can't force their way into the elite. The promoted clubs are now going to have to take a hit and go back down to recover and be a bit stronger to come back up again.
Sean, a bit of balance. It's the first time in 25 years we've had 3 up, 3 down.
Yeah, but it's happened now.
It's happened now. But then that's
you
if
still
you
get
judge
2 out of 3.
Yeah, but if you judge long trends by something that's happened over a season, I don't. I think we can only judge it in a couple of years. But just listening to Rob Edwards there, and I think he said in one interview, he said, "I feel with disappointed people, i.e. the fans." Rob, you've not disappointed anyone. The fans held up that banner saying, "We're proud of you." You see the connection between Rob Edwards, between Luton Town's players and their fans. He's done an amazing job. You know, on a technical level, he's built a platform for Ross Barkley to go and parade his fantastic skills. You saw with that pass to Adebayo early on. You know, his support of natural support as a human being and as a manager for Tom Lockyer. He's had to sort of juggle the books in a difficult time. You know, I went to see him early in the season and he was taking training sessions and having to pause at times because of the planes going overhead. I mean, you know, he's had injuries with a thin squad. I think everyone at Luton will be proud of him and people in football will be proud of him. You know, he's a decent man, an emotional man in a brutal sporting jungle, and he's represented Luton Town. He's represented Luton, the town, and he's represented football fantastically. He's shown emotion. He's shown tactical nous. His teams play good football. He's handled injuries, difficult refereeing decisions, and never really complained. So. No one will be disappointed in Rob Edwards. He's just given absolutely everything. And Luton fans were absolutely right when they said, "We are proud of you." It was directed at the players and also at Rob Edwards himself.
Was that your monologue? Have we drifted
into
mono territory?
It's just something that that a lot of people feel.
And there's a lot of disappointed women, my wife included, because Rob was voted the sexiest manager in the Premier League. Overwhelmingly. Right.
Well, I went to see him early in the season, and there was just someone who was passing and said, "Well, Rob, if it doesn't work out as a manager, you can always go and be a model." I mean, but you know what? He's just a credit to Luton Town. He's a credit to football. So look, it's not a mono. I think everyone would agree what an amazing job he's done.
Burnley down. Bit of criticism of Vincent Kompany because he stuck to his principles to the end. No hoofing it up to the big man. Tried to play the game, the beautiful game, the way he liked it, the way he played it at Manchester City, and actually made some fair points about how the club itself didn't go for short-termism, signing a lot of experienced players on big money who, if you went down in the Championship, you'd be lumbered with them and it would make it harder for the club to come back up. He feels like he's bred good, hungry, younger players who are going to give them a chance to come back.
Vincent Kompany, and we've been privileged to have him in this country as a player and as a manager. He is a man of principle, and why should we question a man of principle? So we should celebrate that. I would agree there's certain things that maybe he should have acted on sooner. He stuck with James Trafford. Maybe that was overly loyal when Muric came in. I thought
one of the young players who will probably use next season to come back, though.
Well, that's true. And
we like Trafford as a keeper. You saw him at the under-21s tournament. He's absolutely outstanding, but he's found this a difficult season.
He has, but I think he got called up by England, didn't he?
He did.
He's been on the bench, so he's obviously sort of highly regarded within the England age group system. But look, Muric has come in and done well. O'Shea, I thought, has been outstanding for them. I like that commitment to play a certain way, but you've got to balance it with the naivety that stained some of their moves from the back.
What would you have done if you'd been in the Burnley dugout to stop them going down, do you think?
Well, if I'd been in the Burnley dugout, they'd have been down by Christmas. So,
right.
So he's a proper
he
professional.
could have done then.
It was difficult. If he was going to be committed to playing that way, and as you said, the sort of the skill set of the individuals that they've signed, that is going to be the way that they play. But they'll have parachute money, they'll have backing. If they can keep the core of the squad, they'll probably come straight back up.
How do you evaluate Nottingham Forest season?
I was disappointed when Cooper left because I just thought he's an outstanding manager. But Nuno, I like Nuno at Wolves. I know he had a little difficult time at Tottenham Hotspur, but he organises. He's another emotional individual. He's a very empathetic individual. If you know him, if you've met him, you don't just get a handshake. You almost get a sort of hug from him. He is that type. I imagine players have responded to him. Look, that there are things in that team that need tightening. But tell you what, when they go forward and you see how Hudson-Odoi is playing, and Gibbs White has obviously been outstanding for all his time at Forest, maybe more of a sort of cutting edge in the goal mouth, but they're worth watching.
Chris Wood yesterday had a couple of horror ones, yet managed to score against Newcastle United, as is their way.
I mean, Danny Taylor wrote a good, interesting piece in The Athletic in midweek talking about, I think he interviewed Cartledge, the chairman, and was sort of talking about the possibility of Forest moving away. I understand that, PSR, you need to, but it's a special place to go. And it is not because simply of all the sort of the European Cup and the sort of the Clough memories and the sort of the mist rolling in from the Trent and all that. But I think it's just such a sort of special place. The noise from all around the ground, it's such an asset to Nottingham Forest Football Club. So to lose that, to move away from there, would be quite a huge step.
I think people quite liked Nottingham Forest at the start of the season. They liked the way they were playing. They were entertaining. They were losing games. Steve Cooper had a good attitude, but I think they lost a lot of sympathy with the public with their whinging and their whining, to be honest.
One tweet was ill-advised. I think there was, as you said, there was a lot of sympathy for them in terms of, look, all managers have got gripes with decisions going against them this season. Gary O'Neill, from his first day of the season at Old Trafford with Wolves. So all managers have got that. But I think there was sympathy for Forest. They tend to be, you can't generalise so much, but when you go in and you talk to fans, particularly, Forest is a club where you talk to fans and they're actually good, not simply on insight onto their own club and the goods and bads of their own club, but actually about issues in football, whether it's VAR, whether it's kick-off times or things like that. They're actually quite a sort of measured bunch. And I don't think that was fairly reflected by that ill-judged tweet.
But plus the Clattenburg thing as well, which nobody really understood, did they?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the idea of having an expert in that field, but not someone to take the battle to PGMOL.
No, I know you had a go at me earlier on for suggesting 3 up and the same 3 going back down means that there's a worrying trend there, and it's not yet a trend, but I think it could be, because actually the gap between the bottom 3 and the next ones was actually larger because of points deductions for Forest and for Everton, so actually they comfortably went down those 3, to be honest.
So is your suggestion that Leicester City and Ipswich Town are going to go down next season?
Well, they'll be among the favourites to go down, possibly. Yeah, I mean, you've got big, powerful clubs like Leeds coming up, and yet they've struggled. Possibly coming up. Norwich, who've been in the Premier League, and they're quite powerful clubs as well. But they will start as favourites to go down too, won't they? Is the gap getting a bit bigger, do you think?
How can we say it after just one season of 3 up, 3 down, when we've had 24 preceding seasons when it didn't happen? So I take your point, and it is a concern, and PSR will be an issue. But Leicester have got some good players. They've got, they can hold on to all of them. Ipswich, they've got some fantastic loan players. They can lose 1 or 2, but they've got McKenna. And I absolutely can't see Kieran McKenna leaving now. He's being linked with, some people are sort of linking him with other jobs. But he is a loyal, if there is much loyalty in this game, he wants to push through this sort of project, and he is absolutely keen. When you've got a manager like him, you've got a chance of staying.
The other 3 clubs came up with good managers who you would have a lot of respect for, and they've still gone down. Yeah,
I just think this. Yeah, no, it's a fair point, but I just think if you've met McKenna, there's something about him. He has a certain authority, and you can see players responding to him. Also, they are backed by trillionaire.
That's twice you've said I've made fair point in that section, actually, Henry. So thank you very much for giving me a little bit of credit there.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.